Welcome to another Fraqtals tutorial. In this one, I'm going to show you how to fit the X-Plug onto your existing screen printing press. Now I know everyone is different, but there's basic adjustments you'll have to do. First thing you want to do is fit the X-Plug onto the front screen clamp like this. You want to make sure it's all the way against the back and it's level and even on the front. Once you clamp it all the way down, now you want to adjust the off contact. You might need tools for this depending on which press you have. So ensure to get the right off contact and the adjustment on the X-Plug. You'll have to sit the screen onto the X-Plug. As you can see that the registration brackets and the eyelets are not sitting flush. The screen is actually sitting right on top of the platen. Let's first adjust the platen's distance from the X-Plug to ensure that it sits properly into the registration eyelets. So we're going to adjust the platen's distance from the X-Plug. We're going to loosen these brackets and slide it back. Now coming back up to the top, the distance that you want to have from the X-Plug and your platen is right about 4 inches. For me, it's the distance of my hand, my palm. Right? You can measure it out depending on whatever your project requires. Once you got that proper distance, you can then tighten your platen back so it doesn't move during printing. Now let's grab the screen and see how it sits into the eyelets. Now you can see it's sitting without any movement. It still has a little slight adjustments that need to be made because the registration brackets are not sitting completely flush into the eyelets, meaning that we need to adjust the off contact, lifting the head up so that the screen sits properly into the registration eyelets. In that case, you can be able to do it by adjusting your off contact. As you can see how the adjustments affect the X-Plug up or down. You want to raise it all the way up until the screen is not sitting on the platen and the registration brackets are completely nested into the eyelets. Right here, we're a little too high because our off contact is more than 1/4 of an inch. The head down a little bit so the off contact is right about 1/8 of an inch. A little bit more, maybe 1/4, depending on what you're printing as well. If you're printing t-shirts, you probably want to have about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch. And that gives enough for your screen to pop up during printing. See how the screen is sitting perfectly into the X-Plug now without any movement. That's how you want it. If you have any movement when you touch on the screen, then it's not adjusted correctly. Once you got it adjusted, the off contact, lock it in so it doesn't move during printing. Once you got the X-Plug locked into place, you want to remove it and insert it back into the registration eyelets. Touch each end, make sure it's not lifting up anywhere. Looks like we're locked into place. If it was movement, then you might want to check how the X-Plug is secured into the clamps and check the rest of your registration or your adjustments just to make sure it's locked in. But it looks like we're ready to go and we're ready for printing. We'll see y'all on the next tutorial. Woo woo.